Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the SCG Columbus 20K, where we've got 366 players all battling out in 2 days of Modern. My name is Will Hall, better known on the internet as the Will Hall EXP, and I am joined by none other than Islands in Front, Screw himself, and we're going to bring you round number 3 of 8 planned for today. We've only got 2 more left before we pass it off onto Dom Harvey and Tim Schultz, that they're going to take you through to see who is going to get into that day number 2 and give himself the best shot at $20,000. We've had a couple of highlights so far this weekend. Skura, what is your favorite and what card is standing out to you the most?
Easily, my favorite card is Up the Beanstalk. This card, in conjunction with like Solitude or Fury, is just wrecking opposing decks. And we saw it shine against Karuga, another 4-color deck. But Up the Beanstalk is a much, much better draw engine than whatever Karuga could possibly show. Now, against Living End, it fell a bit short, but still, it gave the outs, and something really exciting could have happened, like chaining Solitudes into actually pulling ahead. So, Up the Beanstalk, I mean, I'll be buying my signed, Japanese foil copies.
Oh, is that the route that you've got to go? You've got to go for the Japanese foils?
Only. If foils, then Japanese. Easy.
Okay, nice to know. One last question for yourself and chat. What is nymphs? I've never heard of that word before in my life, but good shout out to the in-between kind of Wordle thing that we've got going on, keeping you all entertained between each round while we set the players up ready to go. And again, we have got a Victor 1-on-1 currently with this 4-color Beanstalk list, and we can see Danny there in the background. But Danny is against Hunt. I don't know if this is going to really throw a spanner in the works to Anu. What's the chances that we can have the backup feature match first? Because that is none other than Thomas Gunn against Danny in the feature. Thomas Gunn had his first Pro Tour Lord of the Rings, was the best performing Hammers player at 8-2 record. Also did a whole tour around North America because he is a singer-songwriter. And before coming to the Pro Tour, he's one of my good friends that I met at the Pro Tour. I love that man. He's great. If there's any chance that we can swap it across Anu, I would love it. But if not, hopefully this matchup is going to be pretty quick, where we've got 4-color Beanstalk against Rakdos Evoke. Evoke, because I am wizard trained, I will not say the S word. And that's my stance on it, ladies and gentlemen.
Also, I just did a quick Google search about nymphs. And apparently, it's used in British slang. And it means easy.
Nymphs? Nah, I've never heard that before in my life. Nymphs. Nymphs is not for easy British slang. Maybe no, I'm not even having it. That's false. That's false. Google's let you down there.
I mean, I'm just quoting Collins' dictionary. So Collins, get back together.
It's not even a real Brit. Jeez. But okay, we've got to keep here on Victor's side. Obviously, Rakdos Evoke, we've been known for taking a lot of mulligans. It's trying to find that super explosive start where it can kind of flicker, get back from the graveyard. One of the powerful cards, either Fury or Grief. Very popular at the Pro Tour. Actually managed to take down the Pro Tour in the hands of none other than, I can't remember his name off the top of my head because I'm stupid. I literally was speaking to him the other day. I've got Thomas Gunn in my head, and it's obviously not Thomas Gunn. It was, chat's going to tell me before I can find it, which is going to really annoy me, and I apologize. I'm so sorry. It is
Jake Beardsley.
Jake Beardsley, that's the one. I literally just got Jake Beardsley, who I followed his story the whole Pro Tour. What a story that man had. First Pro Tour, birthday weekend, winning the Pro Tour. And none other than Lord of the Rings as well, which, just the icing on the cake. I think that it literally might be my favorite Pro Tour, non-biasedly for any reason, purely because it is the Rings. And we're going to start off with a Thoughtseize, taking the Delighted Halfling.
I genuinely think the Hunter will have a really hard time beating Up the Beanstalk. Like, when this card comes down, is going to be really annoying for Hunter, because almost every spell draws a card, because against Scam you're going to play on low resources, but if those low resources draw more resources, then suddenly it's not that bad. And so, no, honestly, Up the Beanstalk is going up in my personal card ratings.
Okay, we'll see how that pans out. I think, speaking to Jake, he says basically you have to play this Rakdos Evoke deck like an aggro deck. You basically need to, get the game over with. You don't really want to go to the mid to late game. You want to kind of use your disruption best you can, get the clock on the battlefield, and start chipping away at your opponent and getting it down ASAP. You're not designed for the mid. You're not designed for the late game, especially when you're against something like these 4-color decks, which they're designed. Every card basically replaces itself when it hits the battlefield or does whatever interaction it's meant to do. As now we pass the turn back, no turn 2 play, no Void Walkers. Maybe there's a Bowmaster. We'll find out very shortly. You have the option of deploying this Ren and 6 I can see in hand for Victor. Interesting if he wants to go that route.
Yeah, otherwise he would have to hold up Leyline Binding, but I'm not sure why you would. Even if you're afraid... Oh, you would. Okay, interesting. So you cannot really hold it up against Blood Moon because Blood Moon immediately turns off the types, and so you cannot play it for cheaper. So I'm trying to think what he's afraid of. Does he want to like bind a Fable maybe? Interesting.
Let's have a little look. Let's see what's going on. We are fetching a basic. Because again, one of the powers of these Rakdos Evoke decks is they do have Blood Moons in the main. And there's not really like a stock number, right? Like sometimes you see without, you see some with 1, you see some with 2, you see some with 3, you see some go all the way up to 4. Some have Magus of the Moons in there as well. It's really hard to indicate what sort of list they're playing with. And obviously on Victor's side, he's really hoping that there's minimum amount, especially in this 4-color list.
Yeah, so the number of Blood Moons actually is an interesting story because people played a lot of Blood Moons because they gave you a lot of free wins. Oh, Fable that I was speaking of, yeah. But then there was so much Rakdos on the top tables that Blood Moon was really unreliable, so you wanted fewer because of the mirror matches. And so everybody started playing fewer Blood Moons, if any, in the main deck. But then, Amulet Titan, which is a deck that had a horrible scam matchup, stopped having a horrible scam matchup because of these changes. And so it was a really cute like reshuffling of card choices and metagame shifts purely because, some people decided to play 2 or 3 or 1 Blood Moon. So it was really interesting. It happened like a month-ish ago.
I think that's like one of the interesting things about Modern, right? Why people love these Eternal formats so much is so many cards are printed in them. You're always going to get people crying for the ban list straight away because, their current pet deck is not good enough. Oh, this card completely crushes my deck. We should ban the card. But Modern's got so many cards in it. The card pool's just got so big. For so many, every different color's got an answer potentially to every sort of threat that's out there or a way to get around it. And the meta is always evolving and always shifting, and we see that. And that's what I love about this format, seeing what players bring week in, week out. Magic Online's slightly different. The meta changes a lot quicker on that because cards are quite easy to get. You just play whatever deck, basically at a moment's notice. You just got to click of a button. In paper, it's a lot harder. You've got to get all these cards, and not all of these cards are cheap. Some of them are quite expensive. So, people have to stick to their pet deck and learn the insides and out of it, know what cards they need in the 15 to utilize in a certain metas. Like Merfolk is a great example of that, right? Like Nikachu, perfect master of Merfolk, tailors his deck for basically every format, meta going, and still manages to pick up top results.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, nothing to add. You're fully right with what you said. I fully agree. And now we see a Thoughtseize that's going to take, I presume, either Ren and 6 if you can deal with the one on the battlefield, but if you cannot, you'll just take Solitude and keep the redundant Ren in the hand.
I think Solitude is the play I would have taken there as well. It's the only real answer. They're not going to play that other Ren and 6 anytime soon. But then does that mean that do you still attack the Ren and 6 here? Looks like we do. Even though it's going to be a 3-turn clock, because remember it goes get tick up. Potentially could tick down, could get double tick down to get that token off the battlefield if you wanted to do that.
Unless, so there is one more thing that could happen. So there's an attack on Ren ticks up, but then Hunter flashes in for 2 mana, Bowmasters to ping it down and then kills it on the backswing. So the main reason not to attack Victor is that you're decreasing the life total from 18 to 16, which is a very small proportion, while you're taking, 4 down to 2 of Ren, which is a much bigger ratio, right? So like marginal utility speaking, let's say, it adds much more to take down Ren.
Yeah, it's I think on Victor's side he's going to be pretty happy here, right? He's kind of not that crazy explosive start hasn't happened here on the Rakdos Evoke side. Just a Thoughtseize to start off the game. No turn 2 play, really. We had the answer for the turn 3 play. We've got an active Ren and 6. Yeah, we've got a lot of land in hand and a redundant Ren and 6, but our top decks are going to be getting a lot better than potentially Hunters. But we'll see how it pans out. Everything to play for. We know potentially just a Blood Moon could turn this game right back around again. Off the top, this this Goblin Shaman making treasures every turn means next turn we could start hard casting things like Fury. If we top deck that's a good answer to the Ren that's currently active on the battlefield. It's going to fetch
against Scam, like against, for example, 8-Rack. These are the matchups where you really want to have a good number of lands because they keep discarding your hand, so you want to be able to at least play whatever you draw off the top. And so in this case, Ren and 6 does exactly that. And so the moment Victor starts playing, Omnath, the One Ring, up the Beanstalk, hardcast Elementals, Hunter will be unable to come back, I think. I think Victor is secretly ahead. Or maybe not so secretly, but nothing's happening, but I think he's in the driver's seat.
Yeah, he's playing into his game plan here. We're moving into like the mid-game. He's going to have a chance to play his 4th land drop. So I don't know what to do with this Ren 6 here, though. Does have the option of double ping that we spoke about. Does leave it open to a Bowmaster end of turn if that did happen, though.
Double minus. Well, if you double minus, double minusing into Bowmasters would be awful. Okay, but the hand is full. Okay, so this makes more sense because the hand is so full of lands that Ren doesn't add really that much. You don't have.
I also think we drew a copy. I think that was the draw for the turn. Another copy of Ren 6. Yeah, 3 land Ren 6 in hand now.
Yeah, exactly. Now, if you had like Fable to filter through your draws, you could pick up lands to then discard them. But right now, you just basically don't have a hand, honestly.
So, the whole tournament, because it's closed deck list, we do have access to basically one deck list here, and it is a Victor's exclamation mark deck list in chat. We'll get that up for you, and we can see the 3 Fable of the Mirror Breakers that you were talking about in play. And then hit end of turn, Bowmaster comes down, pings around and 6 for 1 point damage, brings along with it a mass orc token, which can potentially grow if we draw any more cards, extra cards over on Victor's side. Now, both at Ren 6 playing around some sort of removal, gets Ren 6 off the battlefield. Victor's probably okay with that, considering he's got another one in hand, and he'll be able to basically shoot down the other Goblin Bowmaster in play.
If only Hunter had Blood Moon, this game would be so over.
Oh yeah.
It wouldn't be terribly over because actually Victor plays 4 Furies, which normally these decks don't, and a hardcast Fury would be a legit play. So hardcast Fury, you've got 3 bolts, you've got Fables, and you've got the One Ring. So it's not completely out of the woods if there was a Blood. It will be much, much, much easier because now Victor can top deck anything and play basically anything from the deck. Anything is castable. So a good top deck, and he's back in.
Okay, let's have a little look. 70 card main deck for people who just jump in.
Oh!
The second you said it, you are like Miskit Meg. The second you say something, it happens. Here it comes off the top. Is there going to be a removal spell for the ETB? A Terminate potentially? No, there isn't. Another Omnath drawn. Fetch land. Trigger. Gain 4 life.
Oh my god.
Okay, advantage.
Also, I don't think Hunter triggered Orcish Bowmasters.
He didn't. I was about to say missed trigger there. Could have had that amass token go up an extra 1 and do a point more damage. Potentially a point of damage could have gone to the Omnath and a lightning bolt or something finishing it off. Little triggers like this. Normally these happen on Magic Online. It happens on Arena as well. These are legal in some of these formats there. So missing these is rough. Okay, this is even more rough.
That is weird timing because you could have killed Omnath immediately. And get Bowmaster's trigger, which would be pretty decent. But now Victor just got 4 life for free.
Here it is. It happens. There's paper magic. This is why we love watching paper magic. This is the entertainment part of it, right? Anything can happen. Anybody can do anything in these matchups. Miss triggers being one of them. Hopefully it doesn't come and pay Hunter, kick him in the butt there. But Omnath is off the battlefield, but unfortunately another one was drawn for Victor, so we might be seeing that again next turn, unless that was our 4th season hand I just saw for Hunter. We'll have a little look.
I'm not sure, but even if it was, it's not accomplishing much, is it?
Well, we know that there's another Omnath in hand, so taking the Omnath could be pretty good. 2 damage coming across, dropping Victor down to 17. It's a Fatal Push plus land. But we do have a, Fatal Push works well with the fetch land. Means we could take out the Omnath potentially if it does come down, which is all going to depend on what Victor drew for the turn. Having a little flick through. It looks like it was a lightning bolt.
Yeah, I really don't like Hunter's position because he's really low on cards. He's really low on aggression. Like if Victor was at, let's say, 5 life, we would play this game on a different axis. But now, Hunter is just severely behind.
So chat's just going through like an interesting take on how things work. Just to explain to people that maybe haven't seen Omnath or realised how the triggers work. And where we were talking about that being potentially the timing was slightly wrong. Now that we've got this Omnath coming down, talk to me about the different layers of triggers that are happening now and when players could potentially respond with another Terminate if that was a thing.
Yeah. So normally when you resolve something, you still have got the priority. So for example, if you play Renin 6 on 3 counters, there is no window to actually bolt it because when it resolves, you can immediately pick it up and the opponent cannot kill it. Now, with Omnath, they designed it so that there is a draw trigger on ETB, so you cannot immediately play a land, right? There is this draw trigger that is on the stack, and you can respond to it by playing a removal spell, hence never allowing the opponent to get the landfall.
Thank you very much. Okay, we're going to see. That Omnath is going to eat the Fatal Push because the Bowmaster, no, because the Bowmaster died for the turn. Turning on the Fatal Push, able to take it down, and then follow up Dolphy Voidwalker. Now this is one very powerful card, doesn't see a home in many decks, but very good in this deck. Talk us through why.
So this is a card that adds a different layer to the deck, basically, because it allows you to play both more instant speed, more interactive. It punishes the card that's good against you, which is the One Ring. It kills off opposing Ragavans. It just does so much. It also, people thought it's not going to be so good because people don't draw that many cards in Modern, because Explosive Iteration doesn't draw cards, Renin 6 doesn't technically draw cards, but it turned out that you don't have to draw that many to make it playable, and a single Preordain here and there, or like a Consider, or like, maybe land cycling or something, is already enough. And Fable, second chapter.
And we're going to see a Solitude come down, take out that Dolphy Voidwalker. Going to gain a little bit of life here for Hunter, but again, this isn't really... Victor's not the aggro deck here. He wants to win over a long, over multiple turns, not few. So Hunter gaining 3 life there isn't going to do too much. And it lines up quite well, being a 3-2 body versus this 1-1, a mass Orc token. Only 1 card in hand for Hunter. I think it's a land, if I did see that correctly. It's a big draw step here.
Victor has got a Lightning Bolt and the One Ring, so that's... Yeah, I don't see Hunter coming back. Like, now even the Blood does nothing.
A Fury would be good here, right?
Oh, called it?
Hold on, is it?
Oh.
Okay, that's a good one. That's a good one off the top. 2 damage here, 2 damage here. That clears up both those cards. Always love when you get a 2-for-1. And a little bit of chip damage here with the Goblin Amass token. So, in the game, just not very in the game, because this Lightning Bolt, as you said, is going to finish off here. No mana up for any sort of undying effects.
I really appreciate how often we're correct today. We just keep calling the shots and
we're doing it.
It works.
Well, here's the One Ring, which obviously you know all the lore about it. So feel free to tell us.
Yeah. Throw it in the fire or whatever. I don't know.
It's the fire of Mordor is where you need to go throw that ring to destroy it. But remember, it basically you're going to watch the films. I don't want to do any spoilers for people that haven't seen the films 20 odd years or whatever it is since they've come out. But that's a Ragavan off the top.
Well, so Ragavan deals no damage because of the protection, and because it deals no damage, there is no trigger.
Also, I think there's still a Lightning Bolt in hand for Victor, so I don't think it would connect either way.
Oh, the Lightning Bolt was used on Furies, unless there was another one.
I think he drew another one, yeah.
Oh, he did, okay.
Look at my eagle eyes, look. Teferi, and a Solitude left in hand. So like, this is for you. This next line. So the ring hits tempts counters on it, right? Because in the lore behind the One Ring is it tempts and corrupts the person that is holding it. So it's like a really nice little flavor text, a mechanic that goes along with this super powerful card. As we see it draw multiple more cards, because again, the great thing of it in Modern is not only does it give you protection and being indestructible, you get to draw cards before it actually deals damage to you. Now we've got the another Fury, a Solitude, and a Lightning Bolt drawn for the turn. Spoilers. Chat's giving me sticks saying that so if you don't know the One Ring tempts people, that it's bad on you, chat, for not watching Lord of the Rings after 20 years. How old were you 20 years ago, Skura?
I was 6.
Yeah, okay, so you got like an out there. Like I was 6, I wasn't even old enough to watch the films. That's acceptable.
Yeah, it's like watching Breaking Bad now and then being angry that you saw a spoiler on like TikTok or something.
Breaking Bad, hello. I can't go back and watch Breaking Bad. It's not good the second time round. But do you know what's not good the second time round is this game number 2 here for Hunter. It's not. This isn't game number 2. It's game number 1, isn't it?
Yeah, that was close. You tried. That was close.
Reese, I tried to set it up. Not going to see what he wants to see. Okay, well, I think we're moments away from a game number 2. If I saw this hand, I'd be like, all right, cool. Yeah, thanks for playing.
I mean, this is like a straight up concession. Like, and this comes back to my point from round 1. If you can stack your deck and you cannot win, just concede. And there is literally like, unless you're counting the opponent just fading, there is.
Chat's calling me a boomer now. That's great. I appreciate it, chat. Thank you very much. I wear my boomer. I think I'm a boomer until I hang around with Matei, and then Matei's the real boomer. He always puts me back in my place. He's like, well, the origins of this card is this, and this. Shout out to Matei. Big Z. One ring tapped. 3 more cards drawn to the hand. So Victor's got a stacked hand here against Hunter with just 2 cards in hand and 4 land. But he needs to convert this into a win. It's all right winning the game, but if you can't actually close it down and get that 1 or 2 in your scoreline, it is all going to be unjust. Here comes 3 mana. Here comes Nissa. We've seen this already. This is one of the newer cards that was printed in the added-on set to one of the standard sets. Talk me through this and all the actions and modes and why it's good in this deck.
Yeah, so Nissa was printed in Aftermath, which is like a weird add-on set to, I believe, March of the Machine. And so it's a 3 mana 3/3. That's a bigger Lotus Cobra that gives you mana when you have triggered the landfall. But the second time round, you get to flip your deck until you reveal an elf or an elemental. In this deck, it's going to be an elemental. And that's one of the reasons you play only a single copy of Nissa, because Nissa is an elf, so you could potentially hit the second one, which you do not want. So the first one will always hit an elemental, which in this deck is Omnath, Solitude, Fury, or, wait for it, Muldrifter.
I didn't get a good look at what we hit there. Was it a Fury we hit then?
Yeah, it was a Fury. Yeah. I have to say that I admire, maybe not the right word, but let's just say I admire how people play until the very end of every single game when we watch them on coverage. Every single time.
Wouldn't
until
you?
The last drop
would
of
as
blood.
well. If I had 2 amazing commentators like yourself and me commentating over my match, I want every single second on that screen, good or bad. Fun fact for you, my 2 feature matches have both been against Tron, and I lost both of them. So, be careful what you wish for when you want a feature match, ladies and gentlemen. That's all I'm saying. Sometimes it's great, and other times it's not so great. And here comes the Delighted Halfling. Powerful 1-drop.
I genuinely think it's actually all around a bad strategy to continue playing, and let me tell you why. It's not about the clock. Like, Victor knows he's like awfully ahead, right? He knows that. But he can see that Hunter doesn't concede. So now he might be going through the potential options for Hunter to come back if he continues playing. But because he does that, he might be overthinking things and taking even longer than if he just turned everything sideways. And so everything like prolongs because of this kind of double bluff level 3 thinking.
Terminate's going to be pointed at the Nissa here. Looks like it's going to resolve. Or is there anything we want to do in response here? Maybe that's just a little bit of bluff. going on there. You know, oh, I could do this, making Hunter think, oh, okay, if he could do that, what else could he do? What could that card be doing?
Dash, yeah.
Here comes a dash Ragavan. That's a fairy.
I mean,
Lightning
yeah,
Rock's gonna take care of it.
we're just taking game actions which are legal, but it's not accomplishing anything.
Right, let's have a little look. Ring trigger. We're going to take 3 points. You know, potentially there's a lightning bolt out here maybe for Hunter if this ring keeps doing this much damage. There's no way currently to gain life besides the Solitude hitting one of our own creatures. Fable.
There is one more idea that might be behind Hunter's way of playing, because he knows that he can win games fast. He also knows that Victor cannot win game fast. So if this game takes, let's say, 35 minutes, then Victor can never win 2-0. Only Hunter can win 2-0, right? So then it's either a draw for him or a win. So there might be some kind of that type of thinking going.
Okay, remember, ladies and gentlemen, if you're tuning in, what you can hear is mics down at the table. We have the players' mics now. That is one of the new features on this stream. One of the added things that's happening. Plus, we've got Wordle in between rounds, which is something very, very entertaining for everybody in chat and myself. I'm giggling like a schoolboy every time that comes on. So stick around between. But we've got lots more magic for you. This is round number 3 of 8 players scheduled for today. I'm at Will Hall. I'm joined by Skura, and later on we're going to pass it off to Dom Harvey and Tim Schwartz. They're going to take you through the last 4 rounds, and then we'll have a good idea of who is going to get day number 2 as we now move into match number 2 and Victor taking down game number 1. It is closed deck list, so we don't have access to the players' sideboard, so we can only bluff, or we can potentially see their hands as they're sideboarding, but we do have access to Victor's. So, looking at Victor's sideboard of 2 Beseju, 3 Chalice of the Void, 2 Dolmen Veto, 1 Emrakul, 2 Endurances, 2 Chain More, and 2 Veil of Summer. What do you like to be coming in here?
Well, the sideboard doesn't look very exciting for the matchup, but I think it might be because the main deck is geared at beating Scam with so much card advantage and in interaction. I would consider double Veil, double Endurance, because Veil blanks the whole deck, right? Blanks every discard spell, every interaction spell. Endurance is decent because it doesn't even have to tag the graveyard. It's also a 3/4 blocker, which is good. So I can see Boseiju pull to the front, so this might be in consideration for Blood Moon specifically. Don't bait us with the Emrakul. No. That's no. So I would say
let's go. Give me that Emrakul.
I mean, okay. So Emrakul, I guess if I had to come up with any rationale, that would be if there is a Bloodman, it's castable through that. And the game's, well, I mean, it is, right?
It's that is facts you're spitting right now. That is facts.
And no, if the plan is to play on low resources, play a very long game and grind it out, well, yeah. If I had to say something, I'd say something like that. But let's stick to endurance and
it looks like Muldrifter's being pulled to the front. I would say that Muldrifter is like a card that you probably want in this matchup. They're going to be tearing my hand to pieces. They're going to be ripping me apart. If I can kind of get Muldrifter down, maybe potentially trigger off something else, draw a few extra cards, maybe that's my way to kind of undo the hand disruption part that my opponent's playing. There's what's your thoughts on that? As we no, not Emrakul. No, why did you put it to the back?
Actually, there is one, I mean, let's say not draw that you would be looking for, and that's turn 2 Beanstalk, turn 3 Muldrifter, which is really good. I guess the rationale is that you don't have anything else you'd like to cut. I really like cutting Teferi because it's double color and it doesn't really do much. You don't want to, okay, called it. Double Endurance, double Veil.
Okay, well, let's see. Maybe we can get the hand camera over to Hunter and see if how he's doing. It looks like he's finished his sideboard and shuffling up. So, yeah, we're all going to be in here. But let's go with a generic list. So, Rakdos Evoke, what they tend to have in their sideboard, it's going to normally be some sort of like Blood Moon effects are normally in there. You always have the chalices and kind of explosives. Some sort of graveyard hate. Maybe Shield Dreads are in the sideboard. Is this a matchup for Shield Dread, let's say?
Well, Shieldred doesn't match up really well against Solitude, but it does match up pretty decent against Fury, Lightning Bolt, and Prismatic Ending. So that could be a thing. There could be more copies of Blood Moon effect, so that's what I expect. You listed off a bunch of other effects, but I doubt they'll be
There's one that kind of sticks out for me that they used to play quite, you know, like 2 copies in the sideboard, but moved away from it because of the downtick of the 4-color decks. But that's Torak. Torak could come in pro-white, discard a couple of cards from your opponent's hand. It was always quite good back in those, especially as a lot of their removal tended to be Solitude or Prismatic endings. Also does Teferi.
I mean, Turak also dodges Leyline Binding, so that's actually the only thing that it doesn't dodge is Lightning Bolt, and
Lightning
so that's
Bolt's
one of the
Furies,
reasons
yeah.
that's one of the reasons to even play Lightning Bolt. So, 4-color stopped playing Furies, so that's why Turak was so good against specifically Victor with both Fury and Lightning Bolt. It leaves a bit to be desired, and now we see turn 1 Halfling into turn 2 up the Beanstalk, and then let's play the game from there.
Well, the Sportsies might have something to say about that. It's going to be an interesting pick. What do you think you'd be picking here?
Can I say up the Beanstalk? Can I?
You can. It's interesting.
Let's go. No.
Taking Solitude. Okay, so that says that there's a creature in hand that they don't want.
Yes, I do.
Once said, they're going to write down the hand, which is always a good practice to get into, especially in paper Magic. Even on online Magic, I see people writing down what's in their opponent's hands, because not always does it get revealed and stay revealed. But now, Victor on the other side, what does, he's got to be spelling, there's got to be a removal spell on the other side of the battlefield. Why would they leave me with my my turn 1 plays? Does he even play the turn 1 play? That's the other question. Or does he hold up Veil? Decides to go with the Delighted Halfling, the powerful 1/2 mana dork that comes down.
This is genuinely one of the reasons that Veil on the draw specifically is kind of clunky, because you're never veiling a turn 1 discard spell because you're on the draw, and then you're trying to really forcefully find a spot to hold it up, and hoping opponent walks into it. It's really awkward on the draw. It really is.
Right, we've got to have a good 2-drop, and that 2-drop. Well, first we're going to start with a Grief, so we're kind of happy that they played the Delighted Halfling here. Going through, we can hear what the lay is.
Okay. So that makes more sense. Okay, so I guess the idea was that you Thoughtseize away Solitude to then be able to completely safely scam the opponent,
But
or evoke.
there's no second white spell though, so even if they drew a white spell, as long as you stack your stuff the right way. I suppose it does exile it, doesn't it? But
Well, I think the idea was that, like, before he casts Thoughtseize, he doesn't know what's in the hand, so he just starts off with the safest bet, and then goes from there. Something.
Yeah, it makes sense doing the Thoughtseize route that way. Just leaving a couple of land in hand, and a Veil of Summer, which we spoke about. Not great now. You've got to be Victor looking at that going, this sideboard card, it didn't do what it was intended to do. Doesn't say they won't have future sort of benefit, but now we do have a Grief on the battlefield, 4/3 with Menace coming across, hitting Victor down. This is exactly the start Hunter needed to get back into this game.
Yeah, but the hand is rather a stinker, because there's another Undying effect plus Fury. So it's as if there was no hand. So Hunter is kind of hoping for a Lightning Bolt to be able to undie the Grief.
Oh, as in a Lightning Bolt from Victor to take it so he gets another kind of look. That's always like the downside when you're playing against these Evoke decks, right? Is your removal, your 1/1 removal that does not exile is going to be really rough. I think that's why we saw potentially, during sideboarding, we might have seen a couple of cuts of the Lightning Bolt in particular. But if I'm not, is that only one card in hand, or is it just stacks a couple for Hunter here?
No, there are 2 cards. There's Fury plus Undying. Yeah.
Okay, sick. So this is game number 2. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, Victor is 1 game up currently. We're in game number 2. Was that it's either a Mummy or Prismatic ending off the top. We'll see how Victor wants to go about deploying the cards in his hand. Both players 1-1. This is going to be 8 rounds for day number 1 before tomorrow, where I don't know what the record is. I'm guessing an X and 2, X and 3 record gets invited back to play in day number 2. And then they're going to be battling out to see who can get into that top 12. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, top 12 of these SCG tournaments. And the way that works, they'll go through it all tomorrow for you. You don't need to hear about it now, especially in round number 3. A lot of Magic to be played between them now and then. But what you do need to know is there was 366 players battling out to try and get into day number 2, to try and get themselves a share of that $20,000 prize pool that is up for grabs. Potentially it could be Victor. Victor could be rallying back from a 1-on-1, get himself into the top 8, but it's going to be starting off with this Omnath, uncountable as it comes down, trigger, draw a card. And as we spoke about, every card in these 4-card decks, just they replace themselves. That's the power of this deck. It's very good when your opponent's only got 1-for-1 removal.
Yeah, and now, as we talked game 1, if Victor was on a low life total, you could play on a different angle, right? Don't care about cards, care about life total. Here you're getting an attack for 4 through, so that's good, down to 7. But it's still tricky. It's still tricky. 4-color. So, because there is no Blood Moon, there is no like proper disruption. Yes, you're discarding cards from the hand, but you're not discarding the top of the deck.
Okay, so really hoping it like rip something like a red spell here. So potentially could ditch that to the Fury. That's
that would be good, yeah. But not
just
enough to
drop,
land.
Though. So we're just going to be able to get in there for 4 points of damage. We'll probably pass the turn back. Remember, we were watching Victor, the way that this is working is we're basically getting feature match players that are happy to be on camera and stick around for 3 rounds. After 3 rounds, we're going to try and swap around to players that have got 3-0 records or better, depending on what rounds we're moving forward into. But that's to we don't want to impact the tournament itself. We don't want to be holding it up at all, and just by keeping the same players in the same locations, it's a lot easier for us on camera and for the tournament organisers themselves, because they're letting us do this at the end of the day, and we've got to keep everybody on side and everybody happy. Here comes a Wrenn in 6. That's going to get back a land by the looks of it. Windswept Heath, the original art, gotta love it, and that's what we're going to play for the turn with an Omnath. Great little combo, Omnath on the battlefield along with a Wrenn 6 and fetch land. That means our life total is not going to drop too low anytime soon.
There is one more cute trick. So what you can do is play your fetch land, gain 4, pass the turn, hold the opponent on upkeep, and then fetch with that fetch to have another land enter play, but then on the opponent's turn, so you get the landfall first effect again, which is gain life, right? So essentially, you can get 8 life across both players' turns.
The man, the myth, the legend, Anu is asking if he should put Tron on camera, and I'm going to say a big F to that. And I would, I'd like chat to also put big Fs in chat to that as well. Let's not have Tron on camera. Nobody needs that in their life. Let's try and, get your votes in. What decks do you want Anu to find along the top tables? Do you want him to find Zoo? Do you want him to find Evoke? Do you want him to find Yawgmoth? Do you want him to find Breach? Hit your favourite modern decks in chat. Let Anu know he's running around. He's doing everything he possibly can for you all at home. Not only travelling to other countries to try and put on this amazing coverage for you all, he's also doing so much work while he is there, just for the love of the game, just to bring this all to you. So please
and
let him know.
while you're talking about that, we saw Prismatic ending 4 colors, Exile Grief, which is huge. And now Hunter has got few uncastable Fury and uncastable Undying Malice useless Undying Malice in hand.
Useless against the exile effects like we were speaking about.
Oh, I think it's a Topland. So you can, or Blood Crypt maybe?
No, it's Blood Crypt. It's one of the new Blood Crypts, so he can cast this Fury now.
Okay.
Taking 2 points of damage.
Okay, so there is that, but it's still far from satisfying, because Victor still has got cards in hand, has got the top decks.
And let's see what he rips. I haven't had a good look at it yet, but I'm sure if it's good, we'll be seeing it shortly. Wrenn 6 is going to get ticked up, I want to say.
Oh, and I can see one person mentioned a great lineup of decks to show. Breach, Dice Factory, Scales. Yes, sounds exciting.
Yeah, if we can just ban that in the chat, that'd be great. If we just ban them. No one wants to see any of those decks. That's far too much math for my pea brain to be able to understand. I did see someone say they wanted to see Infect. Shout out to Fat Town. All us Infectors have got to stay together. You know what I mean? RIP our deck. But,
if there is too much math, you can always say, Skura, do you think there is a win here? and then I have to do the job. And,
That's 100%. That's exactly what I do. Every time. When I don't understand something, I just throw it straight to you. I'm here just to talk gibberish. You're here to talk facts. That's the way we see it. 4 mana. Could it be another follow-up Omnath? Let's have a little look. See, maybe not. I'm trying to think what else is 4 mana in this deck. Why would we be tapping like that? Still didn't get a good look. Okay. Maybe a little bit selling something there, maybe?
Yeah. Some posturing.
They got a Solitude in hand. Doesn't matter against any Undying effects because it will get exiled. Unless something crazy like Lightning Bolt my own creature, then an Undying it or something. But we'll see how that kind of pans out. We know about one card in hand.
Hunter isn't completely out of it because Victor has got Solitude and that's it. But then the question if Hunter has drawn anything meaningful. Oh, really? The opponent is at 9. It's an attack for 6. I would personally go for the face. Because dropping the opponent down to 3, I mean, doesn't matter in this spot, but personally I would go face.
Come on, Lightning Bolt my own creature, undie it. One time. Nope. Okay, cool. Fury's going to go to the exile zone. Hunter's going to gain himself 3 more life. And we're going to see Solitude do what we always see try to do, be an absolute house against these mid-range decks. Now we get to untap. Another big draw step. 3 damage comes
back
across.
For 3. Yeah, 3 lifelink. I think we can slowly but surely be transitioning for the backup because it's actually going to be over pretty fast because it's like 3 attacks plus 2 pings or 3 attacks plus halfling attacks here and there.
Yeah, I think we need more Furies. Remember this Ren's ticking up more and more. As soon as that gets to 7 and gets to ultimate, we've got unlimited prismatic endings, lightning bolts, and whatever else we've got in this deck. I'm gonna have a little look, see what else we've got.
Unlimited Veils of Summer.
Yeah, that'd be we know that one's still left in the hand. I think it's just lightning bolts and prismatic endings and the veil. I think that's it. But unlimited lightning bolts, that'll do it.
Yep, do it with will. And this is exactly what I think what you said really resonates. You said that Solitude is really good against mid-range decks, and that's exactly the point. Hunter is playing as if he was a mid-range deck, which he shouldn't in the first place, right?
I got you. So again, we're going to come across, and this is like the extra upside to this, right? It's also got lifelink. It gets you out of this sticky situations. Doing 3 damage and gaining you 3 life is huge. So we're just getting some info on the back table currently, but we'll go through that one after this game. Still a bit more Magic to be played in this one, and then we'll talk about what we got going on behind the scenes as it's just land past the turn. Renin 6 is on 7 now. Hunter needs a big draw step. I see a Terminate in hand, but he knows about the Veil on the other side from that turn 1 Thoughtseize. Remember, this was a turn 1 Thoughtseize, turn 2 Double Grief, and still Victor's managed to turn the corner, pull the bag out here, go up to 7 land in play. A Renin 6 at 7. A Solitude, along with his Delighted Halfling. I'm half surprised the Delighted Halfling's not also getting in there, just to try and up this clock a little bit more.
Yeah, so basically the way I think the math comes out, you can only you have the privilege of attacking with Halfling only on the last combat, because then it paired with a Ren down tick is actually lethal. So you can go attack for 3 down to 7, for 3 down to 4. Oh, and then it's just enough if you know. Oh, down to 8, sorry, I miscounted. So it's one attack is down to 8, the other one is down to 5, and then you go Halfling plus Ren minus. So you don't have to attack with Halfling until the last possible combat, which makes sense.
Chat's just clicking onto the fact that there are 70 cards in the main deck for Victor. Yes, he is. Everyone said he was a madman for doing it, but if it looks like it is paying off currently, because he is very close to being able to get himself his second victory in this tournament. Here's the Veil, there's the handshake. Congratulations to Victor, taking it down, advancing to 2-1 in round number 3. Now, this is where things are going to start getting, happening in the back end, ladies and gentlemen. We do have a backup feature match for you all, where we've only managed to record, I believe, game number 1. And I think we're going to move to game number 1 and bring you game number 1 just so we can see, you know, what's happening. Obviously, Danny, we've seen him already on his Demir control deck 2-0, but Thomas Gunn. I need to speak to you about this man. Beautiful man. Look how lovely he is there with his sunglasses on his head. Singer-songwriter by trade. Magic the Gathering Pro Tour player by night. He obviously pilots this mono white hammers list, which did him so good at the Pro Tour. He was the best performing player with it. Out of an 8-2 record. Got himself a re-invite to the next Pro Tour in, I believe it's Chicago in February, isn't it? But that's the one that everyone kind of got the invite for. So we're just going to be able to give you this game 1, which is, you know, better than me and Shakira just talking gibberish. So we'll see who manages to take us down. Then, unfortunately, we didn't manage to record game number 2 or 3, and we'll tell you the winner of it after this match that we see conclude. So Thomas is going to remember the trigger.
Yeah, he is, but now he's staring down the One Ring, and the One Ring is really good against Hammer if it resolves. So Hammer has got a few tools, like if it's mono white, he's got maybe Mana Tithe or Reprieve. If it's blue white, he's got Spell Pierce, maybe a Mana Leak to get rid of it. But once it hits the board, it gets really sketchy, and I can see that Thomas is playing a spicy list of Hammer with main deck Solitude.
Yeah, why not? Why not? The cards, you know, it seems Sideboard been picking up good numbers, doing really well, and things like Murktides are in the uptick. Why not? Let's play it in the main. It was interesting there that you remember the trigger off the Esper Sentinel got to draw the extra card, even though mana was up for Danny, because Danny really wanted to play this Murktide, get a clock on. He needs to start finishing this game, and it looks like he did steal a Giver of Runes, which obviously can be quite good along with the Murktide. And unfortunately for Thomas, he's just got to pass the turn back. Land drop for the turn and pass. Not ideal.
Danny's double checking his life total because he doesn't want to kill himself with the One Ring. Now, the key thing is that if you never activate it, you're never taking damage, obviously. But the moment you activate it once, you introduce the sub-game of am I going to die or stay alive, right? So it's kind of binary. You either don't activate it at all and you're safe, and it's enough to get protection once, or you start activating and then you have to play against your opponent and against your own ring.
So, it looks like multiple charms have been cast. Like one stole the Giver of Runes, another one has stolen the Hammer, and now another one is going to steal the Esper Sentinel here. Thomas having a look at the hand. Nope, nothing I can do about that. Danny's basically beating him up with his own deck here.
And this is... So, in the past, when this deck picked up in popularity, we saw it play Sauron's Ransom. And there was a really cool card, like a mini Fact Affection. Players love Fact Affection, so they played Sauron's Ransom. But then they realized, well, maybe actually it's better to just play the good old Archmage's Charm, which has served us for so long. And yeah, they started pivoting back from Ransom to Charm, which is like a cancel divination split card, but in this particular matchup, it really shines as a steely removal spell.
Well, a turn too late there. Surge of Salvation for Thomas off the top. Would have liked that last turn. Here comes a Ginger Brew, one that's literally just got a reprint in Wells of Eldraine, which remember is legal this weekend. We're going to see how many of those cards we can get on camera for you all. He's going to give it haste by activating one, means only creatures with haste can block it. And now we're going to go to combat.
Definitely attacking with these.
We can hear both players talking. We can hear Thomas and his beautiful voice. Remember, is a singer-songwriter. Can find him on Spotify. Shout out to him. I actually listen to his music quite a lot, I must say, since I met him. It's actually really, really good.
Attack with everyone.
And in the team.
Before blocks. Yes.
Before blocks, as we can see.
I'd love to hear the players. I love it.
Yep.
You sacrifice a non-token creature.
So it's each.
Sacrifice a non-token creature. Which one do you sack, Skewer?
I would sacrifice... Well, the hand contains Surge of Salvation.
Thinking.
I think you sacrifice Gingerbread. Like, it's not a good spot anyways, right? If you sacrifice... Or maybe Solitude. I mean, Solitude gains you life. Paladin is terrible now, but it's better if you top deck an artifact.
And here comes the double block.
And mind you, double block with Thomas's creatures.
Not ideal.
So I'll gain 2 because this won't take any damage. Right, go to 12.
Well, you'll gain 3, right?
Go to
Because
12, so now Murktide
that's
deals
right.
you
Now, so
8.
that'll get prevented.
That's right.
So it's a turn to clock for Danny.
Yep.
Okay, I literally love how that interaction there just works. Something that, you know, newer players in Magic might not understand how that works. Why did Thomas only gain 2 life there when the creatures are free 2? You should be gaining 3 life. Talk to me through that interaction.
Well, I'm trying to compute what's just happened there. So yeah, actually, let me give me a moment.
So the giver gave the Sentinel protection from white. And the way that Thomas stacked the damage was 1 damage on the Sentinel, 2 damage on the giver. But because the damage is prevented to the Esper Sentinel because it's got protection from white, that damage cannot resolve, so he doesn't gain the 1 life there.
fair.
He gains the 2
Yeah.
damage from the other one.
Very good catch, yeah. Good catch.
It's something that, you know, maybe people don't understand, and how important it is stacking when you stack your blockers or you do damage to multiple blockers, and how it can work, especially with like protection and life gain and all this sort of stuff going through. But Thomas not missing anything there, knows how to play his deck, which you'd assume you would from being a Pro Tour player.
Second main phase. I'll play my land.
So we've got second. I mean, the hand is full for Danny,
Yeah,
and pass
exactly.
the turn.
Very uphill battle here for Thomas. He needs something big right now,
Activate.
and I'm not even sure what that's going to be.
Go to combat.
But he's going to give it haste.
Attack.
Get in for 1.
Flash in Masters.
And yeah, this is
Oh my God.
In response to Bowmasters, Surge, and I'll pay for Sentinel.
Okay. With Surge on this.
Ha! He pays for his own Sentinel there. Oh my
yeah.
God.
I don't know. I don't think
This is-
Murktide gets a trigger from that, right? Whenever an instant sorcery card leaves your graveyard. Okay, never flip the graveyard.
No, Murktide doesn't
Yep.
get it.
This is yours.
So I'm just sat back. I'm literally listening to the players going in. That's going to be enough for Thomas Gunn there. As I said, ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, we weren't able to record game number 2. I'm going to get Anu to whisper in my ear, or at least type in our little chat, what was the conclusion of this game. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say Danny ended up 3-0. But Anu's going to whisper that in my ear very shortly, I hope. Oh, it looks like Danny was the winner. So yeah, it looks like it was. But we're going to pass it back over to Anu. We're going to have a little break so we can have get ourselves recharged, ready for round number 4. So make sure you don't go anywhere. See you soon.